Norse mythology doesn't spare anyone from its harsh truths. Giants clash with gods, wolves devour all hope, and serpents coil around the entire world, eager to plunge it into chaos. If you think the tales are just dusty old legends, you haven't met these 8 nightmare-fueling creatures. They are raw power incarnate, each a stepping stone on the path to Ragnarök, the end of all things. Stay with me, and let's glimpse the darkest corners of the 9 worlds. 1. Fenrir, the monstrous wolf. They say the gods knew trouble when they saw Fenrir. He wasn't just a giant wolf, he was the son of Loki, the trickster whose children threatened to topple the realms themselves. Yet Fenrir was different. He grew at an unnatural speed, devouring entire herds in moments, prowling with an intelligence that made the gods uneasy. Early on, the Aesir, which are the main Norse gods led by Odin, attempted to keep him close under their watchful eye. They hoped to control his growing power, but he only got bigger, stronger, hungrier. The prophecy was clear. Fenrir would one day break free and tear down Odin at Ragnarök. That single doom-laden whisper drove the gods to chain him. The first fetter, called lading, snapped between his jaws like a twig. The second, called dromi, lasted moments longer before meeting the same fate. Finally, the dwarves crafted Gleipnir, a thin, silken ribbon forged from impossible ingredients. The sound of a cat's footfall, a woman's beard, a fish's breath, and more. Gleipnir looked harmless, but it was strong as steel. When the gods asked Fenrir to test Gleipnir's strength, Fenrir grew suspicious. "I'll only allow this if one of you places a hand in my mouth as a gesture of good faith," he said. Tyr, the brave god of war, stepped forward without hesitation. Fenrir let them bind him. Then he tried to break free. He struggled, but Gleipnir refused to budge. Realizing the trick, Fenrir bit down, ripping Tyr's hand away. That snap echoed across the 9 worlds. A preview of the violence Fenrir would unleash when his time came. Bound or not, Fenrir's destiny stands firm. At Ragnarök, he is fated to break free, charge into battle, and devour Odin. No one escapes prophecy in Norse tales, not even the All-Father. The shudder this causes among the gods is palpable. They know Fenrir's rage is unstoppable. They can only hope the end they delay is worth the price they will pay. 2. Jörmungandr, the world serpent. Drifting in the cold ocean that surrounds Midgard, there lies a serpent so colossal it loops around the world and bites its own tail. Jörmungandr. Another offspring of Loki, Jörmungandr holds an existence that is both eerie and inevitable. The gods once tried to be rid of him, tossing him into the great waters. But he grew until his scales brushed every shore. Thor, the thunder-wielding son of Odin, despises Jörmungandr. Their mutual hatred forms one of the greatest rivalries in Norse lore. In one story, Thor tries fishing for the serpent, using an ox's head as bait. When Jörmungandr bites, Thor hauls him up from the deep. Their eyes lock, brimming with rage. In many retellings, Thor is on the verge of smashing the serpent's skull with Mjolnir, yet Jörmungandr writhes free at the last moment. The sea churns, storms roar, and the serpent vanishes beneath the waves. But at Ragnarök, there will be no escape. Jörmungandr will spew poisonous venom across land and sea. The resulting devastation will spell doom for countless lives. Thor will finally kill the serpent, only to stagger 9 steps before collapsing dead from the venom. Every bit of Jörmungandr's existence aims toward this final clash. It's not personal, it's fate. And that inexorable doom captures the very heart of Norse mythology. 3. Níðhöggr, The Gnaw at Yggdrasil. Far below the realm of men, deep in the shadows near the well Hvergelmir, dwells the dragon Níðhöggr. His teeth never stop. He gnaws at one of the roots of Yggdrasil, the world tree that holds the 9 worlds in balance. Imagine that for a moment, the cosmic foundation itself, threatened by this vile serpent dragon who hungers for destruction. His existence is more than monstrous. It's a corrosive force eating away at the fabric of reality. Messages reach him through Ratatoska, the gossiping squirrel scampering up and down the trunk of Yggdrasil. Ratatoska carries insults between Níðhöggr and the eagle perched atop the tree. This eternal back-and-forth animosity reveals the deep tensions in Norse cosmology. The very tree that connects every realm has its internal conflicts. Níðhöggr isn't a random monster. He's a symbol of rot and ruin lurking at the world's foundation. Many stories claim that when Ragnarök arrives, Níðhöggr will break free from the roots. He will soar above the battlefield with corpses dangling from his wings. He devours the dead, feasting on those cast away in the final conflict. This apocalyptic image of Níðhöggr underscores the cyclical nature of destruction. What rots must eventually crumble, clearing space for something new, even if it emerges from gloom and despair. 4. The Draugr, restless undead. In dimly lit barrows and coastal tombs, the Draugr wait. These are not your average zombies. Draugr are undead warriors or sailors who refuse to rest, often out of greed, vengeance, or sheer malice. They guard buried treasure, brood over old grudges, and sometimes stalk those who wronged them in life. Some legends even say Draugr can swell to enormous size, exuding a deathly stench that drives living men to madness. The sight of a Draugr is said to rattle the bravest. Their skin darkens with decay, and their eyes glow with cruel intelligence. For example, there are stories of Vikings who discover a Draugr's crypt, only to awaken it by disturbing its hoard. A brutal fight ensues. Axes flash, the Draugr roars, but it takes more than brute force to kill what's already dead. Often, one must sever the head of the Draugr and burn the remains in order to stop the haunting for good. In many ways, the Draugr represent the uncanny fear that death might not be final. They highlight the idea that malevolence can linger long after a person's last breath. This persistent presence of old grudges, made physically real, underlines a recurring theme in Norse myth. The past never stays buried forever. 5. Hati and Sköll, wolves of sun and moon. Eternal chase defines Hati and Sköll. These two wolves sprint across the sky, always hot on the heels of the sun, Sol, and the moon, Mani. Their pursuit is so relentless that day and night exist in constant rotation. If ever they catch their prey, darkness will blanket the world. According to prophecy, that moment will finally come during Ragnarök. Hati chases the moon. Sköll chases the sun. When they succeed in devouring their quarry, it signals the ultimate unraveling of cosmic order. An everlasting night descends. Crops wither. Hope fades. The knowledge that one day these wolves will succeed drips with inevitability. The gods may watch, humans may pray, but destiny unfolds without mercy. Some retellings imagine the wolves' breathy snarls echoing across the skies each time an eclipse occurs. Although these details shift across different sources, the overarching message remains. Everything, even light, must someday be swallowed by darkness. Hati and Sköll remind us that no one outruns fate forever, not even the sun and moon. 6. Surtr, the fire giant. From the fire realm of Muspell stands Surtr, brandishing a flaming sword said to shine brighter than the sun. He is the guardian of that burning land, an ancient being older than the worlds shaped by Odin and his brothers. He waits at the threshold of creation, ready to break loose at the prophesied final battle. During Ragnarök, Surtr charges into the fray, his flaming sword carving swathes of destruction. Flames leap from his blade, setting the entire cosmos ablaze. Even the mighty Yggdrasil trembles under that firestorm. Surtr's role is so colossal that he's credited with the final burning of the world, leaving little behind but smoldering ruin. The significance of Surtr extends beyond mere force. He isn't just a mindless bringer of flames, he represents the unstoppable push toward a cosmic reset. After the fire, a new world is expected to rise from the ashes. Surtr's act of raising creation clears the way for an entirely fresh beginning. But that promise of renewal offers no comfort to those who perish beneath his sword. 7. Trolls, dwellers of the dark places. Trolls come in many forms across Norse stories, but they generally share certain traits. They're large, often hideous, lurking in mountains or forests, and typically hostile to humans. Some trolls are flesh and blood beings that can be tricked or outsmarted. Others border on the supernatural, able to shapeshift or wield primitive magic. In all cases, they represent the dangers hidden within nature's wild depths. Popular folklore frames trolls as clumsy and slow-witted, yet cunning enough to set ambushes. They dwell near lonely roads, deep caves, or under bridges. Their strength is unmatched, but the sun is their enemy. Some legends claim a troll caught by sunrise turns to stone, forever frozen in place. So they roam at night, hunting or prowling for unwary travelers. The tension in these tales often lies in whether the hero can escape the troll's brutish grasp before dawn. While trolls rarely take center stage in the grand cosmic dramas of Ragnarök, they inhabit the fringes of the story. They menace mortals and shape local legends. Their presence reminds us that danger isn't always about world-ending forces. Sometimes it's an everyday terror lurking in the nearby hills. 8. Hel, guardian of the underworld. In the murky realm known as Helheim, the dead gather in a place with no warmth or cheer. Ruling over them is Hel, the daughter of Loki. Half of her face and body appear as a living woman, the other half is dead and decayed. She accepts those who die of sickness or old age, unlike the glorious heroes who ascend to Valhalla. Many who enter Helheim never return, cut off from the living and forgotten in the chill of eternity. Yet Hel isn't a mindless tyrant. She enforces the natural law of death. Once claimed by her realm, a soul belongs there. Some say she feels a certain grim satisfaction in her duties. Others believe she carries quiet resentment at being cast away by the Aesir, who found her hideous and relegated her to this dark domain. In any case, she stands unyielding. Even the mightiest gods hesitate to cross into her realm and attempt a bargain. One well-known story involves the death of Balder, Odin's beloved son. After Balder's tragic demise, the gods beseech Hel to let him return. Hel responds, "If every being weeps for Balder, he shall go free." This challenge almost succeeds. Everyone and everything weeps, except one giantess believed by many to be Loki in disguise. So Balder remains with Hel, proving her power is real and final. In that moment, we glimpse her unwavering resolve. She doesn't delight in cruelty. She simply upholds the grim borders of death's domain. No bright torches light the halls of Helheim, No final feasts or second chances greet the souls who linger there. And yet, it's not always portrayed as a place of torture, more a place of silent gloom without the joys of life. This nuance reminds us that Norse myth holds many layers. Even Hel, a figure of dread, is not purely evil. She is an integral part of the cosmic balance, ensuring those who perish remain where fate decrees. When you consider these 8 entities, you see more than monsters. You see unstoppable destinies. Each one pushes the boundaries of existence toward collapse and rebirth. Fenrir's jaws snap, Jörmungandr's poison spills, Níðhöggr's fangs gnaw, the Draugr rise from tombs, Hati and Sköll close in on the celestial lights, Surtr's sword rages, trolls haunt the edges of civilization, and Hel stands, stoic, in the shadows, welcoming the departed. At times you might wonder if there's any hope in this universe, yet Norse mythology thrives on that tension between doom and renewal. The existence of such relentless forces magnifies the fragile balance in the 9 worlds. The gods themselves are not immune. They live beneath the same loom of fate. Nothing is too big to fall, and often that fall comes with savage finality. Maybe that's the true terror, or maybe it's the raw power these creatures embody, because when they finally awaken, there's no turning back.